Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. I'm going to get into some frequently asked questions, just going through the comment section to discuss whatever topics you are interested in. This is all Splinterlands related content, and on my channel we cover Splinterlands all day, every day, because it's changed my life. If you're new to the channel, my name is Dwayne and I go by Infidel1258. Stick around, stay tuned if you like Splinterlands, if you want to understand different ways that you can maximize your returns for your time and attention. And I'm going to go through these comments with an eye for big ones. Hopefully there'll be some good, great questions we can tackle together, and you'll get my live unscripted response to those topics. And I will send out SPS or sometimes DEC as a thank you to some really great questions. No promises, but definitely I like to incentivize this cooperative content creation experience, okay? Let's get into it. Before I do, quick announcement. There's a time and attention recruiting tournament, 500 DEC to get into that one. And there are theoretically going to be 2 new spots available in time and attention too. So come on, join that thing if you're interested in getting into the guild. Also, there's NFTs that are being given away there. And additionally, there is another TNA tournament that I'm hosting as a kind of thank you from PFP, which is Play for Passive. They did a recruitment tournament through us. Maybe 2-3 weeks ago now, and this is like a thank you. There's 150 people in there, 50 DEC each, and there's some decent cards we're giving away. I'll personally be raffling them off to the winners of that tournament. Not the winners, the random participants. You can be first or last. That's the important thing here, guys. You don't need to be excellent, you just need to sign up. Okay? Those links will be in the description. Let's get into it. Okay, comments. Ketovor, he says, I'm hoping that after the main sale, the price of all modern cards will be more affordable and stabilize. There's going to be so many cards on the market. I think this is an interesting point. So how many new cards are there? 60, is it 90 new cards? I think there's at least 60, and I might be as high as 90. I forget. The number just escapes me right now. But Chaos Legion is a major expansion to the card supply. Not just the number of Chaos Legion packs, not just the number of each individual card, but the number of cards included in Chaos Legion. So, to Ketovor's point, there will be a whole new saturation of options going on to Peak Monsters, going on to Splinterlands.com, giving you different selections of monsters to use to win with summoners, tanks, support units. And I think there's good insight there, Ketovor. I think you're definitely right that the cost of modern cards will be more affordable. But then again, there will be certain instances where a card synergizes very well with the new or developing meta. And cards you think are affordable today could theoretically just suddenly be totally unaffordable. That's absolutely a possibility. And more than that, I think it's a likelihood. There's a likelihood of that happening with certain cards. I can't tell you which. That's where the money's going to be made. If you have the ability to identify which cards are going to synergize perfectly, and you're going to see value before others with that type of vision. And you're going to be able to buy cards at a very inexpensive price, knowing that the value is going to carry that price higher. Remember, price is what you pay, value is what you get. So, I think he's definitely right. There will be so many new cards in the market that there will be more affordable options. I would wager even these cards that are already quite affordable will fall in price unless, like I just said, they synergize uniquely well with the evolving meta. And that might take some days or weeks to figure out. But just as 60 or 90 new cards come on the marketplace, it's easy to imagine that there will be at least some of those are going to be fighting in the bottom of the barrel for the least desirable cards, right? Some of them will. Some of them will be instantly identified as amazing, and they'll be up here in the middle of tiers, and they'll be selling for good prices. And like I say, others will be really, really inexpensive. So let's all pay attention in the early days and weeks, and just make sure we're tracking that, thinking that through. Like, how would each of these cards help my deck? And if you think it would add unique value, you know, start packing that bag, right? Dollar cost average your way into a bigger position. Again, if you believe in Splinterlands, if you believe in what the this game and these developers are doing here. Okay, let's go back to the comments. Thanks, Kitafor. Magnus Jorgensen, will you let a trusted Splinterlands staff member like Aggro keep your tract just as a collateral to ensure safe transaction to your investors, basically like Marcus Wall did? Because he's asking, I'm thinking about doing a bulk, well, I'm not thinking, I'm going to do a bulk purchase in the general sale, and I'm going to hold the funds, and I'm going to do the purchase, and I'm going to distribute the packs. And on the one hand, Magnus, I don't have a problem, especially if Aggro would be agreeable to that. But here's the problem. Two problems. One, what you're asking is that I would give up $1 million. Is it $1 million? So let's go over to cards. Cards. No. SP. Okay. Here it is. SPS. You're asking me to give away 1 million airdrop points per day, which is probably 120 SPS a day. And you're asking me to surrender that asset until such time that all airdrops are completed, right? Because I wouldn't, you know, you didn't exactly say that, but I wouldn't ask for the land back until all the airdrops were completed. So that means I'm going to give a tract of land to Aggroed for maybe, you know, theoretically 10 months. Now, I do believe that sale is going to first of all, I believe that sale, all of the Chaos Legion packs are going to sell out probably within 2 months. But still, 2 months is 60 days. 60 days times 120 SPS. 120 times 60 days, 7,200 SPS. And I think the future value of these is like $5. So you're talking about me surrendering $36,000 worth of value to Aggroed, who I totally would trust. First of all, I would completely trust Aggroed. And there are other people too. But this is the problem. You're asking me to put out, you know, a significant financial loss to secure your contribution. And I need to tell you now, I don't actually need your contribution. Don't take offense by this. But the thing is, I want 10 or 20 people who trust me. And if you don't trust me, I get it. I completely get it. I wouldn't trust others either. So I in your shoes, I'll say openly and honestly, and I've said this before, I get it. But in terms of me forfeiting, you know, 7,200 SPS so that I could gain your confidence and maybe get you to come in on this group buy, which I don't need, right? Like I'm reaching out to my community to see who would want me to help them. That's how I see it. I see this is my offer to help you guys, because this is $4 packs. This is an assured entry point. This is guaranteed airdrops. Yes, you got to trust me, and you know you could argue that I'm going to just disappear, but you know I've said more than once that I'm trying to make this my full-time career, and I think you can tell by the fact that I've done 2 videos every day, which is a ton of work. Not to mention comments and, you know, trying to build community and build a guild. All of that would blow up if I was to, and all the revenue streams would blow up. So I am sticking my neck out on this. The short answer is no, I wouldn't do what you've just requested because of all of those reasons. And at the bottom line of it, like the absolute foundational response is that I don't actually want a ton of people to come to me and to join this. So I'm not trying to, you know, convince people who are doubtful. If you're doubtful, I respect that. And then I just say, you know, good luck, you know, at the general sale. And I say that with all, you know, honesty and sincerity. Like, I hope you get all the packs you want. I hope you see that, you believe that when I say that. Like, that's my whole view on this game, is that there's a lot of opportunity here for us each to have success, whether you're starting today or whether you start in the next, maybe the next year or two. But the sooner you start and the more kind of concerted an effort you make in terms of investing your time and attention, as well as some value, I believe you're going to stand to gain even more. It's going to grow exponentially. So I really hope that everyone watching this video, if they don't come through to me personally for a group buy opportunity, that you're going to be there on day one, January 17th, to try and execute a purchase of your own, because I think every pack you buy is going to be well worth more than $4. So I think, I personally bought 1,000 packs for $24 each. And we know from the leaderboard, the top 6 bought 17,000 or more packs per person. Think that through, guys. 17,000 times, and they bought vouchers, right? So they on average, even if they didn't buy the vouchers, they had to use vouchers. So that means they lost the ability to sell those vouchers. So the sunk cost associated with buying 17,000 plus packs is $400,000 US. And so what's my point? These packs are worth $24. Period. Not $4. $4 is ludicrous. $4 is literally, we're stealing money from Splinterlands. They've left a pile of money on the ground and they say, who wants some? And we all just go grab a little. And if you can buy 100 packs, I really strongly believe you should. Again, I don't know what your situation is, so this is not me trying to create FOMO in you and tell you that, you should mortgage the house or something. This is me saying, if you understand what this is and you understand where this game is going and you have a long-term perspective about the assets that are developed by Splinterlands, then I think looking at $4 packs should immediately scream opportunity. People pay $24 for these things, and that's with the airdrops, where they pay $8 with no airdrops at all. And that's on Hive Engine, right? So the point is, these things are worth way more than $4. Let's see, tokens. What are they selling for today? Chaos packs are selling for $10 right now. Wow, I wish I had 250 packs I sold the other day for 8 and 9. I wish I waited a little bit, I guess. So look, this is the point. They're not worth $4. They're worth way more than that. And so whether you do it with me or not, I strongly recommend you do it. And again, I don't need more people to join my purchase. And so no, I wouldn't be considering submitting my tract in such a way as you proposed. And if that's if that makes you not interested, I respectfully understand. Okay, let's go on. Ross Baldwin says, "Hi Dwayne, good stuff as always. Thank you. I also frequently run the Little Nerds. Yeah, plus the S tier high damage card that you described. It works great." Or just which one? I wonder which one you're talking about there. Are you talking about when you say S tier, that makes me think about like super high, like an excellent card. And in the video we talked about, first of all, we talked about, well, you say you frequently run it. So you must be talking about the Venari Bonesmith, because that's the only card that's currently playable that I referred to in that video, I believe. But Little Nerds is a reference to what I said. That's what sometimes I think about the 4 cost cards, or the 0 cost, or the 1 cost, or the 2 cost. They're just little nerds, but they can be quite meaningful, right? Even though they seem in some ways trivial. They might have 1 hit point or 2 hit points, but they might have 2 melee attack, and that can turn the tide of the game. Not to mention, it can help you build a full roster of 6 monsters as opposed to 1 or 2, which can be a distinctive advantage and help you win more games. Thanks, Ross. Let's see. Charles Simpson says, a 50% increase in magic damage is a big difference. A 50% chance for poison to proc and continue doing damage even if the Bonesmith is removed from play is great. This is true. I didn't comment on that. He's making a good point. I was comparing the Bonesmith to the... Let me see if I can remember its name. Right over here. I was comparing the Bonesmith to the Life Sapper. And I was told today that the data on the Life Sapper changed. Look at this. I just refreshed the page. They tweaked the Life Sapper today, maybe just before or just after that video. But the magic damage is now maxed at level 2, at 2 instead of 3. So the life leech ability is exactly as powerful as the Bonesmith. But now they've introduced redemption, and to me redemption is a fine ability, but it's not nearly as good as that one magic was. And it's down to 4 hearts as a max. It used to be 5. So that's a big difference here. Hang on a second. Let me see the Bonesmith. Blue. Bonesmith, where are you? Bonesmith. The Bonesmith has a maximum of 5 hearts, dispel, life leech, and poison. This is now officially the better card. That nerf to the Life Sapper was significant enough that I say this is definitively the better card. I still like the Life Sapper, but this is better. It's got 3 abilities, whereas the other one has 2, and one of them I don't even really like redemption. It's just okay. Redemption, if you don't know, it causes 1 damage to every enemy opponent when the card itself dies. So when your Life Sapper died, it would hurt your enemy units by 1. So I like this way better, especially now that they've nerfed the magic. The big reason why I liked the Life Sapper so much more was because of the 3 magic. 2 is a huge nerf. So definitely I think Life Sapper is now been nerfed. And I want to say that this card is less than the alternative. Where is that? The Bonesmith. However, look at this. One more caveat. Having said that, 3 mana cost is a lot better than 4. That's a huge price discount. So now I'm gonna flip-flop again. I mean, they're both playable in the little leagues, but 3 mana is a world of difference from 4. You can get 1 or 2 other cards, right? Like, you know, with the 0 cost fiends and the 1 cost little nerds, you can really build out your team with 1 extra mana. Makes a world of difference. So I'm gonna say they both are great cards, and I want both of them. And how great would it be if you had both of them in an equalizer where you could take advantage of that life leech and have both of them for 7 mana cost? I'd say that sounds pretty overpowered to me. So I'm going to say Life Sapper and Venara Bonesmith, okay? Let's back to the comments. But I didn't really address his point about the poison. He's making a point that the 50% chance to proc the poison is going to be damage that continues even after the Bonesmith dies. I do love that, and I use the Bonesmith a lot. And when you land that poison, your enemy is fighting against time then. So this is a strong point. Poison is very powerful. Chuck Rock with the Neo Geo logo, which I love. Neo Geo is an arcade console, and stand-up and also home-based console that I used to love as a kid. I had a friend who had one. They were super rare, and everybody wanted to go over to his house after school to play it. So Chuck Rock was also a video game reference. For those who don't know, we gotta go Chuck, right? Am I wrong here? Yeah, there he is, Chuck Rock. I think I might have had that on Sega CD, and I definitely played it in the arcades. So let's get back to the question. Okay, I'll stop nerding out. Is it possible to see the cards when you were talking about them? I don't see the first 2 cards. Thanks. Power creep. Yeah, Chuck Rock. Some people listen to my stuff in like podcast form, and some people watch the videos. So you're right. I should try to do my best to, but if I'm talking about a card, to show it, or at least to very clearly describe it. I actually don't remember which one we were talking about there. I think we were talking about the fire monsters. Cards. We were talking about new fire monsters from Chaos Legion. And I want to say we were talking about Ifrit Rising, who was nerfed from 4 magic at the top to 3 at the top. Force Field we were talking about. Recharge we were talking about. This card and fire being redefined by magic. So we're talking about Ifrit Rising. We were talking about Jin Inferni, who at the highest levels is 4 magic, 5 magic. I actually thought he was 4. Is that new? I don't remember. Maybe the stun is new also. I actually don't remember that either. There's so much going on with these cards. Until I open them and have them in front of me, which is happening tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm just gonna, I need to keep learning, just like you guys. I need to keep looking at it, keep learning. But I think Magic is, you know, Fire is is definitely a very powerful Magic team now after these new monsters, including Jin Apprentice, Jin Inferni, and Ifrit Rising. So those are the cards in question I think we were talking about. The Abnormal Deformal says, man, I wish I would have seen your voucher giveaway video. Wish so bad I knew about the game months ago. Thanks for the content. Next time. Yeah, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for the support and the positive comment. Manabusin says, my favorite Splinter. Yes. Death Splinter. Me too, man. Same here. Death is definitely my favorite Splinter, although high consideration goes to life also. So I'm like white and black, and to a lesser extent red for me. Bernie, aka Mike, says, Dwayne, Griswold cutting down the family tree. I love it, man. Do you have 25,000 Italian twinkle lights too? I don't, but I have. This year we made, I should show you guys a picture of my house. It's not nearly as Christmassy as I want, but I'm so proud of our tree. We chopped it down myself. The house is, I did climb on the roof. I put up lights, and next year we're going to do even more. This is my first season in this house. You know, just buying it, you know, figuring out how to lay out the lights and which ones to use. By the time I'm as old as Griswold, you know, you can bet on probably even, heck, maybe next year it will look like that. Plus, this is like one of my favorite Christmas movies. If you guys haven't seen it, I tried to watch it with the wife last night, but we couldn't find the DVD. So we ended up watching a Hallmark Christmas movie instead, which was also cool. And he says, lol, enjoy the family time whenever possible, as they are the ones who are always there. Be blessed, my friend, and grind on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you, Mike. Carl says, congrats, Mr. Dwayne. You deserve it all. All the TNA. Your intro always hit different. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I appreciate the sentiment, positivity. Appreciate you. Jeffrey Leonard says, as always, love you hearing your thoughts. It is really interesting with power creep. From what I've heard, the devs use spreadsheets and assign each stat and skill some sort of points, and the total points lead to a mana cost, so there's a nice objective system that leads to non-arbitrary costs. But there are 2 issues with that system which can still lead to power creep. I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking, while I'm reading your first sentence, I was thinking, yeah, but there can still be power creep. Let's see what you have to say. The first and most obvious is the misvaluing of a skill. Totally. 100% agreed. Stats are pretty clear at this point, but the value of a skill is less so. You are stealing the thoughts out of my head, Jeffrey. Let's see. Something like recharge is especially hard. I like how it is balanced. Example, 3 times instead of just giving Ifrit 9 damage means a silence reduce. It's actually by 3. Yeah. If it were only 2x, it would be strictly worse than just regular attacking. That's true. That's a good point. Maybe 2.5 would be better, but then depending on the rounding, you might end up with some weird breakpoints. So we'll see how they do on valuing the new skills. They're flashy, but they have clear counterplay ability available. For example, Giant Killer don't use 10 plus mana cards. So I think they'll certainly be a consideration when making your team, but it won't be OP. I like everything you said here. You know, I think it's well thought out, and you've articulated a very clear explanation of why you think it's not overpowered. Great. I appreciate that. And I feel similarly. Then the second point you say is synergy. Some abilities combo together better than others. And I doubt the dev's point system accounts for this. I totally agree with this also. The most clear example is Venari Bonesmith and Life Sapper. Both are 4 mana at top level. Not anymore. One's 3 mana. But anyways. And the Bonesmith has 2 magic, Life Leech, and a poison, while the Sapper has 3 magic and Life Leech. Because of how Life Leech works, the Sapper will gain 2 health per turn. Yeah, this was one of my points in my video this morning. But it's now different because they changed the magic on Life Sapper. Let me finish your point and see if it still rings true. Even though they both have the same expected damage per turn, I'd take the Sapper any day because of the synergy it damages with skill. This was my point initially. Other than explicitly taking the synergies into consideration in their point system, I don't know how you prevent this. And this will lead to some cards absolutely being better than others. You're right. Even though the data around the Life Sapper changed, your point is still true that synergies are hard to fully understand until you get them outside of a testnet into the real system where tens of thousands of battles are being fought every day with that specific card. And then you really get to see what happens and unfolds. And this is why originally the ability Redemption was 2 damage per enemy, and they nerfed it. For those who are watching my screen, go over to Splinter Cards and we go over to abilities, and Redemption. Where are you? Redemption. When this monster dies, it does 1 damage to all enemies. And originally, this was 2 damage. And certain cards, such as where is one? None of these ones. I'll show you. There's a dragon card that used to have Redemption. Dragon. It's an archery card. The Fire Spitter. This card originally had Redemption on it. I don't remember what level it was on, but it did. And this card was much more expensive. Well, it was cheaper than it is now, but it was like $2 a card or something. And then Redemption was nerfed and the price plummeted. And that was while the card was in play. So this was one of the examples where the developers had changed. They had launched as one thing and they changed it later. And I remember being like, oh man, that sucks, because I was just starting to accumulate Fire Spitters after I saw the power of Redemption, and then they pulled the rug. But I don't blame them. It's not me. I'm not trying to point fingers. They were trying to correct an obvious problem, and that one slipped under the radar. But the point still stands that sometimes they don't fully understand the synergies, and they are going to undervalue an ability because they don't properly understand the implications once it's released into the wild, into the modern formats where you're going to see thousands and thousands of battles. And then he says, unrelated, as a silver player, I'm terrified of the Slip Spawn. 9 mana, so avoids Giant Killer, Force Field. Only card with a Force Field in silver. So Worm isn't great against it. All health, so it can't really magic it down. In some other tanks, and it has 13 to 14 of its health at silver ranks. I'm not sure what the counterplay here is. So I'm going to look up this card because I actually don't know what you mean. Slip Spawn. I don't know their names yet. We'll go here. Slip Spawn. I'm pretty sure that's a water, isn't it? Slip Spawn. This might take a minute here, guys, but I just really want to... This is a fun conversation point, so let's find it. Oh, does he mean this one? Yeah, he does. He must. Yep, Force Field. Level 4. In silver, he's right. That'll be in silver because it's rare. Level 4. It's going to have Force Field. Wow. And Taunt. Wow. So no matter where you put this thing, in the 5th spot, the 6th spot, it's going to have Taunt. It's going to attract attackers. But it's got Force Field at level 4. This is going to be an absolute must-have card. Period. Full stop, because of what he said. It's under the 10 mana points, so the Giant Killer's not going to kill it. Not going to do extra damage. It's got Force Field, so it's going to take 1 damage in those instances anyways. The Taunt is going to be super distracting, especially when you throw in some triage cards, which I know there are some. Isn't this one this one's a triage, right? Triage, that's at gold, but still. In my deck, I'm going to need Slip Spawn and Queen Mycelia That's an amazing combo. And then you throw with it, what else are there? There's other ones, triage related. There's at least one other one. This one, Chimer Princess at the higher levels has triage for me. So imagine 2 triagers protecting your slipstream, or slip, whatever it was called. What's it called? Slip spawn, mycelic slip spawn. Yeah, he's totally right. This is a must-have card. How do you counter it? How do you counter it? Blast damage. It's not a counter exactly. It's just one thing you're going to need to really utilize. Blast damage is going to help. If this is put in the wrong position, blast is going to really hurt the team, his team, right? If you put this card in the second position, you've got a first position tank and a third position monster, you're going to blast damage 3 monsters. So misplacing this split spawn and the taunt is going to hurt you. But assuming they play the taunt correctly and they put it in the last position, how do you defeat this thing? Or even if they put it in the first, but you wouldn't, you'd put it in the last. This is going to almost exclusively go in the last position. The counter would be making sure all of your monsters attack at 4 or less. That's going to be the thing with force field. When force field is really, really a problem, you have to design your team in such a way that you leave all of your attackers do 4 or 3, but not 5 or 6. Otherwise, with the double triage and the force field, this thing is going to win, insta-win. Great comment. Thanks, man. And he's left his thing. That was an excellent comment. And your insights there are super on point. So I'm going to send some SPS to this guy here. And this is my prized SPS that I need for, not DC. This is my prized SPS that I need to buy Chaos Legion packs with. Transfer. Oh, 10 SPS. That's a great comment. I appreciate that. That was really fun to read. Thank you. Bad rag. Okay, now let's keep going for a little bit longer. Texas Jiu-Jitsu says, we get it. Buy 1,000 copies of Shannis. Lol. Yeah, if you can afford $30,000, you should. You really, really should. You're not going to regret it. But it might take 2 years. So if you need that money in the meantime, that's the reason you wouldn't want to do that. But if you have, if you have a couple $100 and you want to invest in cards and you just want a card that's going to rent for you and a card that's going to provide power to you and a card that's going to give you airdrop points and a card that's going to go up in value, the Oceanus is definitely high on that list of considerations. And this name that I can't read says the plus Magic Dragon Summoner might be OP now, at least in higher mana games, just because it has so many options. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree that he's saying he's saying the Delwyn Dragon Scale is going to be even more powerful now that there's more dragon monsters, and he's right. He's totally right. Because the dragon monsters, Chaos Dragon, Void Dragon, and all the other ones, right? But actually, let's focus on those. Let's just go Void Dragon. I haven't properly looked at this. Up to 2 damage at the highest levels with Flight, Void, and Phase. Love it. And this beast, this thing is going to wreck worlds. The blast damage too, and the scatter shot. Are you kidding me? Scatter shot is a counter. That's one thing you can use to counter or taunt. Use the scatter shot. Interesting. Can't wait to get in this, guys. Let's go for 5 more. Possibly Divine Shield Summoner may fare well against that beast. Are you thinking, which one are you referring to? Bajin Bandit. I don't remember. Would take 4 rounds to be effective. Dang, I don't know which one you're referring to, so we're gonna skip that question. 5 more. Super new user says, don't forget cards like Axe Master and Silver Shield Assassin already do 2 hits of 3 per turn, and they don't skip a turn, which means they already get 12 damage and in 2 turns before the buffs. I think you're making an argument why the recharge is not overpowered. I mean, I think I said in the video, I don't really think it's overpowered exactly. I don't really think Chaos Legion these cards are overpowered. I think they're definitely going to cause the meta to evolve, right? I talked about how the meta is going to change, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Especially, remember I said in the video, the good news is we have an opportunity to buy these cards. If we think they're that powerful, and I do think they're very powerful, we can go out and we can acquire these for what will seem like low prices in the future. So I hope you don't think I was saying that they're broken, because I wasn't. And you're making a good point though, that the Axe Master and the Silver Shield Assassin are extremely powerful because of the double strike opportunities, which is, to my point, one of the reasons why I so highly value the new life, the Pellicor Albarist. 3 attack, double strike, but then add the archery bonus from General Sloan. That right there is pretty beefy. For 6 mana, this thing is only 6 mana. It's going to do 8 damage a turn. And then throw that with the Prismologist, which is doing 4, what'll turn into 5, and it's got the force field. Yeah. I love this team. I love white. Okay, let's do 4 more, I think. Tom Krochuk says, Dwayne, if you have direct communication with the team, I'd suggest encouraging them to write a short statement before the release for everyone, telling them that the cards may continue to change after initial release. Since several new mechanics are being added, basically just giving the players a heads up, maybe located in the pack store section so the maximum number of people see it. A heads up that people shouldn't get too attached to these cards right away before they change. That would at least buy them some more time to adjust broken cards. If people aren't informed ahead of time, they're more likely to be upset. I agree, but I don't think they're going to change them, Tom. I think things would have to be dramatically broken before they nerfed something like they did before with the Fire Spitter. So like I said earlier, they nerfed Redemption, but I'm convinced that they wouldn't try that again. The reason I say that is because they've pretty much just said as much. They've said these numbers are all subject to change until we release them. They've said that repeatedly. So once they release them, they're going to stand by them. And then they've also said, if there's a problem, we won't nerf it. We'll just release some counters later that'll really help even the balance. So I think that's what they're going to do. And Jay Smith tried to respond saying, I understand this could happen. On the other side, if people buy this card and spend their money crypto, whatever it may be on a card, and then it gets nerfed, what's the compensation? Just would suck to be stuck in the situation. I'm fairly new, but maybe they have done this in the past. Jay, and then Tom responded, Jay, I just think they need to get out in front of this. The more I look at the card stats to wins rate, some of these probably have to change so they don't break the game. Well, Tom, I don't think I was saying that they're going to break the game. I think I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to look at those certain abilities, specifically recharge. But like somebody said earlier, there was a great point. I can't remember who made it now. Someone up here made a great point about how 3 magic times 3 is 9. And that sounds like a lot, but then if you even use 1 silence on that guy, if you can use 1 or 2 silences, which is not too hard, you can bring him down to 1 magic, which turns into 3 damage twice a turn. So it's like the recharge ability is uniquely vulnerable to silence, right? That was someone else's point here today. And I think that's a really well thought out point, because that you nerf the base damage, and the base damage is that which gets multiplied, and therefore It's very, very powerful to utilize silence if you think your opponent is going to use recharge. Your music was a little bit too loud in your last 2 videos, this one included. Okay, my dude. In fact, it might be a little too loud this time around. Let's drop it down a notch. Probably going to be a little bit loud on this one, Vincent, until I just read your comment. Let's get 3 more. Lardizabal Richard Paul Dasco says, you think they would put skills to those cards that don't have any skill? Or they will debuff the old cards? I'm trying to understand what you might be thinking about within the context of the video you're commenting on. Put skills to those cards that don't have skills. I don't think they're going to change any cards after 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tonight, which is the launch, the time you can open the packs. Thathish says, hey Dwayne, great video. Just wondering, what is the Chaos token on Hive X Chaos? Is that the Chaos Legion airdrop pack? What can we expect inside? So, tokens. X Chaos Legion airdrop pack. So this is the Bulldog did a good video on this. This is not a scam. People thought it was a scam. These are packs being sold with the opportunity to claim the airdrops. Let's see. I'm going to back up and I'll show you. Let's see. Where does it say that? Tokens. How did I... Oh, here we go. So look at this. X Chaos. Token name. Chaos Legion airdrop pack. Circulating supply 100,000. The issuer is Chaos Air. And so he's got a website here. PeakD Hive. Description. Allocation of Splinterland Chaos Legion packs and subsequent airdrop values. So he's attempting to monetize Chaos Legion packs in a way that will promise you the appropriate number of airdrops. So this is like a trusted contract you're entering into. Every one of these that you hold, every one of these tokens you hold will, you know, assuming he's a good actor, will release to you not just the 5 cards inside of it, but also the airdrops associated with it. And then you'd have to trust the actor, right? Somebody here, Chaos Air, worried about missing out on Chaos Legion and want to get guaranteed packs. Too long, didn't read. Buy X Chaos and get guaranteed Chaos Legion packs and airdrop values. Go to, there you go, and buy them. So I don't know who this guy is, and I haven't read this before. If you're interested, I say come to read this article that he wrote up here. Looks like he got a good amount of support, so I get the feeling this is legit. Come have a read if you're interested, guys. And it makes sense if you think about it. This author might have just been hoping to maximize his return for the packs he already accumulated so that he can reinvest that value into more Chaos packs. So he's like, I'll give you the airdrops, just buy the token for me. But you'd have to do your own research on that article and see what you think about the authenticity of the offer. Let's get 2 more. Colpy says you should do a video covering how many max level cards are possible for each rarity in Chaos. I think it really puts things into perspective. By rights, there should be around 52 million commons pulled if all packs are opened, but that means around 4.5k maxed copies are possible. This is an interesting point, Colpy, but I would counter by saying not everybody cares what the max level copies are, because most people play in silver where they only need a fraction of the number of BCX. So this is an important piece of information, but most people don't really care how many, if they're never going to buy a 400 BCX copy of a common level card. They're only going to buy like a 50 BCX because that's all they need for their respective league. And so in the end, there will probably only be like 1,000 max copies and then a bunch of lower level cards that will never get fully maxed. And that's why if you want 1 BCX in like 4 years time of a card, it's so hard to get 1 BCX of a card because there's very few people who have them left unmerged. That's due to the deflationary nature of these things at work. Thanks for the comment. Last one, Jiraj Gondek says, just a reminder, there are summoners that have also abilities. Mylor, for example, not only stats, buffs, debuffs. As I see it, there are more monsters that could have +8 attack. So there is a very high probability that one legendary summoner will have the force field ability. Man, I think that would be super overpowered. I think that might be super overpowered. Try and imagine burning down a card like not that one. Where is it? Is it a white card? No, it's a blue card. Yeah. Try imagine burning down this card. It's under 10 mana. It has a huge hit pool. It has taunt. The hit pool's even higher at higher levels, 14. It has taunt. It has void. It's going to reflect your archery damage. How are you going to burn this thing down if you slap force field on that thing? You see my point? Now, if it was a dragon summoner, you would be able to play it with every card under the sun, which would be a real... Wow, that would be very powerful. So, I don't disagree that they might do that. But I would say to you, if they do that, that's a must-buy summoner. Cool, let's call it there. Thanks, guys, for your time and attention. As always, I appreciate your hanging out and listening to these videos. And for the feedback that you leave on the channel, it helps me curate content that hopefully you're going to really enjoy. That's appropriate for what your interests are in this space. Have an amazing day. God bless.